We're at our Morton NDAWN station. NDAWN, the North Dakota Agricultural Weather Network. Here at Morton, we have one of our towers. We don't have these at all of our stations, but we have 91 stations throughout North Dakota, Montana, and western Minnesota. This station at the Share Farm near Morton is one of our more premier stations. We want to look at it that way. We have this one outfitted with pretty much every quote-unquote toy that you could imagine. But one of the nice things about this, and we do have about a dozen of these stations so far, is this one is set up with multiple temperature sensors, and this allows us to measure inversions. So inversions, again, warmer as you go up. Usually you think of the ground being the warmest and you cool as you go upwards, which is very true during the day, but in the evenings, early mornings, and most of the nights, it's actually warmer aloft than it is at the ground. And this station has sensors at 30 feet, 10 feet, 5 feet, and 3 feet. So we have 4 different levels that we can measure the inversions. And if you go to our website at ndawn.org, all of those sensors will be measured. And what we will do is when the temperature is warmer aloft in the bottom, we do the math that way, top minus the bottom. If that's a positive number, we literally on our website put it in red with an exclamation point, warning you that there's inversions in place. And when the air is more dense near the surface, so colder, when you're spraying, those particles come down, and instead of continuing to go down depending on your nozzle size, etc., obviously, but the particles oftentimes will go in a horizontal rather than in a vertical direction. So this allows us to measure that and give you warnings, at least to give you heads up that perhaps spray drift might be a problem with those inversions at this station. We also measure wind speeds here at 2 different heights too, because what you will notice is sometimes when there are inversions or even weak ones, the wind directions might be 180 degrees opposite, which again, when you're spraying, will give you insight to where your buffer zones might be, what little wind there is out there, what direction it may be moving, because different heights, you oftentimes get different wind speeds there. Another nice thing about this particular station, we have a very fancy rain gauge here. Most of our rain gauges, because we have to measure them electronically, is when 1/100 of an inch of rain falls in the gauge, it will click a little teeny bucket, and it'll go click, 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 and every one of those clicks is an electronic pulse that will measure the rainfall in 1/100 of an inch. Here we actually measure rain by weight, which means in the wintertime, snow does not go down into our gauges. We can't measure snow. This gauge actually can, so no, it won't tell us that it snowed 2.4 inches, but it will tell us that that 2.4 inches, even though we don't know exactly the total, might have contained, say, 1/1500ths of an inch of liquid. So here at the Share Farm now, we will get very accurate readings 365 days of the year for moisture, because a lot of that moisture, of course, will run off, but we'll get an idea of actually what's falling in rural areas of North Dakota, because really in North Dakota in particular, we have very few snowfall amounts that are measured. Everyone will tell you that it snowed 3 inches, but it's really the liquid equivalency of that snow that's so very important. So here we'll actually get that total as well. So that's a couple of additional features that we have here at the Share Farm. We also measure soil moisture here, helping with the research and cover crops. We can measure down to about 40 inches what the moisture content is at this site, and also just what the frost depth is. We have a sensor in place that goes down over 7 feet, so in the middle of the winter we know exactly where that frost depth is as well. So some of these features are at other stations throughout our network, but here in Morton we have all of them in one place. So again, this is one of our better stations we have for the research that we're doing here at the Share Farm for NDSU.